Coach, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Oh, yeah, we had a homecoming game against Jackson. Pretty much sellout crowd. I think it's the second largest crowd in history, and it's a big-time football game. We was looking forward to it over there, and we didn't play very well. We got out to a good start, drove the ball down to the 20-yard line, and then we didn't block the defense in, and he hit O'Quill as he was throwing, and then fumbled, and he scored for a touchdown, kind of changed the whole momentum of the game, and we never recovered. We didn't play well at all, but you got to take your hats off to Coach Sanders and Jackson State. He had his guys ready to play in all three phases, and they dominated us for 60 minutes. And so we got to watch the tape, learn from it, get better, and get ready for FAMU.
Appreciate those comments. Coach, we'll now open up for questions for Coach Maynor. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Our first question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
When you look at your ball club with one of the best quarterbacks in the country and a lot of weapons on your team, as you move forward, you have another opportunity with FAMU. Just talk about moving forward and, again, that potent offense you have.
Well, yeah, we definitely got to move forward. You know, we can't live off last week, whether it's good or bad. And I say that every week. You know, if you win the game the week before, you can't live off that next week. You can't live off the touchdown passes you threw or the yards you rushed for, or the interceptions you got. You got to come out and play again. And same thing when you lose. You can't soak in that. You got to go on. You got to move on. You got to watch the tape, learn from the mistakes. Try not to make the same mistakes. You get better and get ready for your next opponent, which is FAMU, which is another good football team. Coach Simmons is doing an excellent job. They got another great defense going to come in here. I told my team, I thought that watching tape on FAM, I think they just as good as Jackson State. You know, they played them 7-6, their first game of the season, and it was in the rain, and FAM hadn't played in 600 days. And I've been telling everybody from the all season, if you're going to get FAM, you better get them early because they hadn't played in the spring. And then they had some quarterback issues where he didn't know who his quarterback was going to be. So he got everything rolling now. He got all his guys coming back healthy. So it's going to be a tough task with them coming in because they still have a good offense and they got those good receivers and they got a great defense. So we're going to have our hands full again this week. We got to be prepared and ready to go on Saturday.
Coach, playing at home is always a great opportunity. Can you talk about using that home field advantage? I mean, you guys could play either there or at home, but in this particular case, it's at home. Can you talk about home cooking, so to speak?
Well, we had a big crowd last week, and, you know, we didn't get to use our crowd because we got out of the game so fast. You know, it was down 21 points or 21-7 and kind of took the crowd out of the game. And so that took our 12-man advantage away. So we got to try to avoid that this week and get off to a fast start, and so the crowd can stay in and be that 12th man to help us out. But anytime you get the familiarity of your comfort of your home and your bed and things that you used to do, you should be more comfortable and have a little bit of advantage at home.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm good, Miss Kelly. How are you doing?
Good. I know we don't dwell on the past, and I completely understand that. So it's Monday. How are the guys feeling about preparing for FAMU in this upcoming week at home?
Well, we watched the tape yesterday, corrected it, had constructive criticism, and then we put it behind us and we brought out the tape on FAM. Today is their off day, but of course the coaches are working hard for the game plan for FAM, so the guys be ready to go in the morning. But they understand, you know, that's what we talk about all the time. You can't live off last week. You can't live off the first quarter performance. If you throw a touchdown in the first quarter, what you going to do? Go to the bench, say, oh, I'm good. I'm done. I got my touchdown. Or you make a tackle interception in the first quarter. No, you got to play the second quarter. Then the first half is over with. You got to play again in the second half. So it's a 60-minute game. And that's what we talk about all the time. So our guys understand that game is over with. We got to put that behind us, and we got to get ready for a real good FAMU football team.
And then my other question, I seen you had the nature boy Ric Flair down there, Coach. How did y'all get that going down there?
I'm a big time Ric Flair fan. I'm from North Carolina. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. I always been one of his fans. When I played ball and scored, I used to do the nature boy, and I wooed and strutted in the camera way back in 95, 96, 97. So I've been a big time Ric Flair fan for a long time. And so we was able to get him up here to do the coin toss. And I really appreciate him doing that because he's a living legend. And he actually bought us a wrestling belt with A&M on it with some diamonds in it. And we all know Ric Flair don't do anything fake.
All right. Well, good luck on Saturday, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Tolly Carr.
Hey, Coach Maynor. Good morning, man.
Good morning, Tyler. How you doing, man?
Hey, good. You got to have a follow-up to the Ric Flair question. Did he critique your Ric Flair impersonation that you did last spring? Did he get a chance to see it?
I think he saw it, but he didn't critique it. And when he was in my office, I did it, and I kept going on. I kept adding stuff, and he would go woo, and I would say something else, and he would go woo, and then I would say something else. So I finally finished, and we did the woo at the same time. So Nature Boy is pretty old. I think he's like 72 years old. So he might have forgot a couple of lines himself.
Oh, hey, I get it, man. I used to go watch him every week when I was a kid.
Me too.
Just one more thing about last week. There was a lot of media attention. I know the fans enjoyed it. The whole thing with Scooter, and they left you a scooter. I thought it was fun as a fan. Do you think it was good? The media attention, all the hype last week. Did you enjoy it? What were your thoughts kind of looking back on it?
I always enjoy it. That's me. That's who I am. Now some people take it the wrong way. I can't help that, but I'm not going to stop and change who I am because the other person don't receive it the same way. So everybody that knows me know that I'm a unemployed comedian on the side, and I like to have fun. And so it is what it is. I think it's great for the game. It's not anything personal. We talked about that, coming into this season about Coach Sanders and myself and the type personalities that we have and the way I like to mess around. And I told y'all then, it depends on who the person is, how they take it. And, y'all know how me and Coach Hill-Eley a relationship is. Me and Coach Simmons got a great relationship, and other coaches in the SWAC, we got great relationships to where we can say stuff and understand that it's all in the fun of the game, and we just having fun. So it is what it is, man.
Do you feel like he took it that way? I know you guys had a handshake afterwards. Did everything feel normal after the game to you?
Yeah, everything was normal. It wasn't no bad blood. I shook his hand. I didn't leave. I just, the only thing I've said is his quote was, "I was talking about him," and I wasn't talking about him. All I did is ask him a question. So, that's over with. We looking forward to FAMU.
All right, Coach. Good luck this weekend, man.
Thank you.
We'll take two more questions. Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Good morning, Coach Maynor. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Coach, I do want to ask you more about the FAMU game. I want to start with your defense, though. What concerns do you have about your defense at this point? And also talk more about FAMU's offense. You talked about how they got a slow start to the season, but they seem to be coming into form.
Yeah, my defensively, run fits. Our run fits when we play zone is not good. Guys are coming down late. They're going to the wrong gaps. And then we got to do a better job of getting off blocks. We weren't able to get off blocks this week. And that's on all three levels. And that's what causes long touchdown runs. A difference in a 8, 9, 10-yard run and a 40-yard run is downfield blocking. And so we need everybody to do a better job of getting off blocks. And then we got to cover a little bit better. We got to get a little bit more pressure. We got to bring pressure. When you bring pressure, you got to play man-to-man. So we got to be able to cover a little bit better defensively. Well, we didn't stop the run. They came in not running the ball, not being able to run the ball all year. And I said it. I said that they haven't managed to run the ball. Hopefully they can't run the ball against us. I said that last week, and obviously they was able to run the ball against us. So,
and what have you seen about FAMU that, their offense has gotten better as the weeks have gone on?
I think the quarterback has just gotten more confident. I think he might have been just a little shaky, a little nervous, not playing in so long, and then playing a big game, the first game, and the weather probably had a little bit to do with it. And I think he's settled down now, and he has a better understanding of what they're trying to do and what the other teams are trying to do to them. And I think Willie might have just watered it down just a little bit and make it not so complicated. And he's responded, and they're playing well, and the defense has been playing well the whole year. So they're playing at a high level right now.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Last question goes to Luke Williams.
Good morning, Coach. Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. How are you this morning?
Good, Luke. How you doing?
Not bad. Shedeur Sanders said at the preseason football conference that this was not your average SWAC team, that their Jackson State team, based on the preseason, how they were performing, he said, we didn't come to Jackson State because we had to. We come because we chose to. And, it kind of has set the bar kind of high for his team. What do you feel after facing them? What do you feel? Is this a normal SWAC team, or is Deion Sanders got something a little more and a little greater than what the SWAC has seen before?
No, he got some good players. No doubt about it. He got some dudes. He got some difference makers. Now, they took us to the woodshed, but they didn't take Delta State to the woodshed. That's a D2 program. They beat by 7 points. And I told my team that, D2 team played within 7 points from us, and we lose 61-15. So, that we just didn't show up. We didn't play. He got a good football team. He got some good coaches. They're doing a good job. Time will tell on that. Time will tell if they got a regular FCS SWAC team or not. But what they do the rest of the season. But right now they got a good football team. He's doing a good job. I said it last week. He was doing a good job. And I said last week his quarterback was playing well. I said, but for whatever reason, they wasn't scoring the way they did last year. And they changed that this week. And I said, I hope it happens one more week, but it didn't. So they got a good football team. But time will tell how good.
The other part of that I wanted to ask is, and you've commented about this because, the fact that he was signing some 4-star or better guys, and you had said consequently that, that you can do that, or the other coaches in this conference can do it too. Has he potentially, if he continues this, will it change kind of like the perspective? Would it allow people like you and others to get more 4 and 5 stars? I mean, one of the things I'm saying that because when I talked to Sam Washington up here at A&T, he was saying to me that getting 4 and 5 stars is rare on the HBCU FCS level. Do you think that what Coach Prime is doing potentially can change that?
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so. I think it will allow other FCS coaches and SWAC coaches, MEAC coaches to be able to sign some 2 and 3, 4 stars. At the end of the day, he can't sign them all. It's only a certain amount that he can sign. So the question is, can we sign the other ones? And can we sign some too? So with time to tell, I don't know the answer to that question, but we'll see. We'll see. We're definitely going to go out and try to get ours, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the coaches in the league can go out and try to sign them some too. Time will tell if we'll be able to do that.
We'll see is a good answer, Coach. Thanks. Good luck, man, going forward.
Thank you.
Coach Maynor, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
We now go to Alabama State. And Alabama State head coach down Hill-Eley. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Well, I mean, it was our first homecoming that we've had during the regular year. We kind of changed the homecoming event from the Turkey Day that we normally have to giving the students an opportunity to come. So, it was just the atmosphere of a hometown crowd. We recognized the 1991 championship team. So it was good to have that history back in town, for our young men. I thought, our guys, with everything considered, they played hard and they was able to get a couple of scores up on Pine Bluff, but Pine Bluff kept fighting. Coach Gamble, always do a good job of making sure his team is prepared, and and they had some drives, and they had some things that that happened on the drive that we blocked the field goal, and it was just a good football game, and we was able to get out with a win.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now up for questions for Coach. Our first question goes to Luke Williams.
Good morning, Dr. Hill-Eley. Congratulations on the win.
Good morning, Brother Luke.
How did your team play differently under new offensive coordinator? Did you bring in any new things, or what was the process that maybe got you back to performing like you want?
I don't even think is anything about anything new. It's just guys, they just played hard. It's not. I don't think it was anything new. At this juncture, you can't scrap everything that you have done. You just had to take the stuff that was working for you and try to do that and try to do it a little bit better. So I just think they actually came out this game and just executed some things.
What about the change at quarterback? And how did that? What was that process of getting Crawley out there and playing and performing the way he did?
Well, it was again another one of our situations where quarterbacks were kind of banged up coming after that tough FAMU game, and Crawley was the next guy up. I thought he came out. He had a couple of mistakes, but was able to settle down and then move the team down the field. Anytime you go from playing 4 plays, 5 plays a game to playing 75 plays, the margin for error has just increased. And he had a couple of throws that I'm quite sure he wish he had back, and had a couple busts on some run game stuff. But for the most part, he played effective enough for us to win.
And last, I don't want to hog up all the time, but this question I asked Connell before you, in golf, when Tiger Woods is winning, all of the golfers are happy because there's more money. And so Phil Mickelson and the rest of the guys don't care. They say they want Tiger to win because it brings more money, more attention to the game. Deion and the success that he's had this early in terms of this big win over Alabama A&M. I was asking Connell, do you think that is potentially a serious game changer as it relates to HBCU football?
I think it's a game changer as it relates to HBCU football. I mean, you have a man that has for 30 years have built a platform of entertainment and a persona that people likes to see. Your Aflac commercials, all kinds of stuff that's going on that you can't, as a program compete with that part of it. But the cup runneth over, as I say. They ended up with their names on the jerseys. Our alums that felt like we needed names on the jerseys paid for that. They ended up with suits and ties and everything for their walk. Our alums end up buying us 100 suits and ties. So it's one of those ones where, the more we can get for our young men, hey, I wish the brother well. I hope he can continue to bring and shower on his guys. But even when it comes down to recruiting, if he's bringing attention to his program, is bringing attention to all of our programs, which causes all of us to benefit. So we benefit from it. And but when it comes down to it, Phil Mickelson, as you all said, they cheer for Tiger, but they still play to win. So that's the whole key. So continue to bring it. I mean, we need attention at our HBCUs in every facet. He's done a good job with our game, and we commend him for it. And it runs over. So, we don't try to compete with it. We just try to put ourselves in a position that as it run over, we want to be able to benefit from it.
Appreciate you, Doc. Thanks.
No doubt.
Next question goes to Jay.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning.
During the spring season, Alabama State was able to defeat Jackson State. But now we're in the fall season. Is there anything that you can take away from that experience as you go into Jackson, Mississippi this weekend?
Like I said, it still comes down to X's and O's and then which Jimmy and Joe you got doing it. They had a lot of young men that was in the spring that couldn't play, and now they're able to play. He got both his sons who are great football players, one on defense, one on offense. And he ended up stouting out his defensive line with some guys that, that has great size and great motors and all, and a wealth of talent that was added, that was sitting out there. So it's a different ball game and it's a different team that we're facing. We have to continue to prepare and we'll be ready for them.
Coach, Ezra and your guys are always ready to compete every Saturday. When you think about your Hornets going in this week and any week, what do you see as you continue to coach guys up?
The first thing we got to do is, we had too many penalties this week. I think we had 15 penalties for 171. Just wasn't our character. We, late hits and stuff after the play, stuff that we'll address with that whistle tomorrow in practice. But the key to it is still having our guys, ready to go and letting them understand we're going in as their homecoming, and everybody plays up. So we can't get into that, into the stuff that goes on at their homecoming. We have a 60-minute game to play, and we'll do everything this week to have our guys ready to go.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
And congratulations on your win. So I'll just ask the one question. What is the guys' mental like? Knowing that they're going down to Jackson State, knowing that Jackson State came off of that win, and I know it's not a bounce off of Jackson State, but what are they feeling like? What is their morale like right now going down for Jackson State for this week?
Well, Jackson is playing well. They had a good game against A&M. They scored a bunch of points. They sacked the quarterback a lot. So it's we're watching that film to try to find out, it was two different teams that took the field from the game they had before to this game. So, and as you look at everybody that's in the conference, you're going to have some games where guys explode and have some games where they low. So in between is what kind of team that you have. So we know that, that they got a lot of talent and it came together for them Saturday.
All right. Good luck on Saturday, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Good, brother. How are you?
I wanted to ask this question in terms of what sort of dynamic does Miles Crawley bring to your offense that allowed him to get the start this past week?
Well, again, we think that we got three of the better quarterbacks that's in the conference. And you can't play them all, but I think Miles himself, he's a guy that he knows how to extend the plays. He can run with the football. He's about 210, 215 pounds. So he's a load when he does run with it, strong arm, and has good range. He can, see over the line. He has good arm strength that can make every throw on the field. So he's a dynamic quarterback and he's just a freshman. So the future looks bright for him. My biggest thing is trying to find a way to keep all of them happy. When you got two freshmen and a sophomore, and they're all good, and you try to keep them out of the portal. So every time I see them at the computer, I just try to walk over there to make sure they ain't getting in the portal. That's the new thing these days. Find an empty place and get out of here.
Sure. And I wanted to follow up on that. Jeremiah Hexon, he has been a consistent offensive threat for you this past season. Just kind of talk about his play a little bit.
We needed him to step up. We had Jefferson who left us, went to Louisiana, and Booker who left us and went out somewhere out in St. Louis. And, and we needed him to step up, and he's been doing that. He's been playing with a lot of energy, great spirit. And we're just glad he's here in the program, buying time for these younger guys to step the game up.
Sure thing. Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Last question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, how you doing this morning?
Ty, what's going on, brother?
I'm good. How healthy is your team since you played Auburn, and how many guys have gotten back?
Well, you know what? We kind of played smart in Auburn. We didn't really, get guys banged up. We had a couple ankles, and Ezra didn't play, but they're slowly coming back. We went against a FAMU defense that they kind of put it on us up there, and we had some guys again, shoulders and all kinds of stuff. Had both quarterbacks went down in that game, so. Just it's football. So week to week, as we always tell them, pain, discomfort, and injury. You can play with pain and discomfort, and we won't play you with injury. But, the further we get in the season, I think everybody got to eat.
And Coach, in my opinion, this game upcoming kind of reminds me of going into Auburn because there's a lot of expectations, a lot of hype around Jackson State. What did you say to your team prior to playing Auburn, and they had that sustained intensity until the numbers caught up to you?
Just, play the guys in the helmet and play them as long as you can in the helmet. Don't get caught up in the personnel or the people on the sideline or the atmosphere. Just lock into the guy and your assignment on the field and play the guy in the helmet. Don't play the name that's on the side of the helmet. Play that face, play that spirit, play that guy that's in the helmet.
Okay, thanks.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speak with you again next week.
Likewise. Thank you all.
Thank you. We now go to Alcorn State. Alcorn State head coach, Brett McNair. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent game versus Grambling State.
It was a good ball game, real physical ball game. I thought kids came out and played fast the first half, and hats off to Coach Favre and his group of young men coming out and playing extremely hard. I thought both teams fought very well and competed, but we came out and scored a touchdown early, went up 14-3, 21-3, and then we kind of went into halftime, came back out. We didn't do as well as we expect to come out in the second half playing. Credit Coach Favre and his defensive staff to holding us to 3 points in the second half. Like I said, it was a very physical ball game and very competitive in the second half. And we only scored 3 points in the second half. And, guys fought. I think both teams really strained themselves and played very hard coming off a great win. I appreciate the guys playing the hardest they could to get this win here at home on a very special homecoming day that we had here at Alcorn.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open for questions for Coach McNair. First question goes to James Hill.
Coach, good morning.
Morning, James.
Congratulations on that victory over Grambling State University. Next stop, Mississippi Valley State in the Delta, cross-state rivalry. The big three, J-State, Alcorn, and Mississippi Valley. Just talk about going into the Delta and they're coming off a victory.
It's always tough. Coach Dancy done a great job these last 2 weeks getting wins, on a 2-game winning streak. He get his guy to play very hard, and the things they do well. Defense, they're going to be tough up front. Offense, they do some things that we just got to be prepared for. Coach Dancy going to have those boys ready to play. And, just credit to him for what he's done with that program up at Valley since he's been there. Had a great turnaround. Unfortunately, they don't get as many scholarships as the other schools, but he always does a great job with that program he got with the limited scholarships that he got. But, we got to play. And I told the guy this morning during the team meeting, it won't be easy for us. We just got to go up and play hard football and finish ball games. We're going to be playing against a very competitive group of young men that's hungry for another win. So we got to prepare ourselves to go and play real physical.
Coach Harper has been a quality student athlete and a wonderful player. Can you just talk about his development and how he's doing these days?
Well, he's doing okay, James. He's not playing the way I think he should play. We're missing a lot. We're leaving a lot out on the field. Not very happy with his play right now, but he can get better. We just have to push him a little bit this week to get better. Maybe have to have one-on-one sit down with him, get an understanding of what he's seeing and what he's not seeing so well. So right now he's not playing as polished as I thought he should be at this point compared to what he did in 19 and up until now. No matter we sit out 2020, it doesn't matter. It's not about sitting out; it's about performing at your highest performance level. So he's not playing really well right now, and I'm kind of disappointed in that part. But we just got to do something to get him going offensively. Just the key thing is that we're missing out on a lot of stuff on the field that we can take advantage of. Some of the things he's not doing so well.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Keisha. How are you?
I'm good. So, Coach, what are some things that you see that your team has improved on from the opening at MEAC SWAC Challenge up until now?
The biggest thing I think they improved on is just coming together and putting out wins. At this point, wins is tough to come by. You have to fight every weekend. All the schools here in this conference are very competitive. They get competitive every year. Each weekend, you're gonna have a competitive football game. And the big thing that I've seen in this football program is their toughness and their fight. They're very competitive. We just got to find a way to get all this thing together and so we can be on the same boat at one time. So and until we do that, we're gonna continue to fight. This team gonna continue to fight and win ball games.
And then, Coach McNair, to follow with that, I know that, like you said, you from week to week, you're fighting till you find a way to actually win those games. What is it like being on the road every week? What is that? How's that for the guys?
It don't bother us. I mean, it just being on the road. You have to leave on Friday and play on Saturday. Other than just being home and playing on Saturday, But these guys, we're used to that. We had 1 year we had a 6-game road trip 1 year. So just add 2 more to that, and there you have it. So it don't really bother us. I like being on the road myself. Get these young men away from some of the distraction that they've been bothered by sometime during the course of the weekend, especially on Fridays. But they've been really good at doing what they're supposed to do to make sure they're ready to play on Saturday.
All right. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach McNair, good morning to you. How you doing?
All right, Ty, how you doing?
I'm good, Coach. You mentioned Valley's 2-game winning streak. Can you talk about their running game and how physical they've been in that running game? And also, can you focus in on Caleb Johnson and what you have to do to at least try to contain him?
Oh, we just got to play. We got to play great football, great defense. They're gonna run the football. They're gonna run the football. They're gonna line up and run the football. And that's a trademark of them. And Coach Dancy gonna do everything he can to explore what we got and try to find our weakness. And that's what a coach is supposed to do. So we just got to make sure that we create sound on defense to stop the run. The quarterback, he's a great quarterback. He's a good runner and he's a good passer. So we got to look at all phases of it, not just on the running game, but the passing game as well. So we got our work cut out for us this week. And I think Coach Thornton and the defensive staff is preparing for all phases of it, run and pass or whatever they present to us. We have to be ready to play, not just one thing that we have to stop the Valley going to do. So they got a lot of things they can do. So we just got to prepare for it and be ready for it on Saturday.
Coach, how good has your team been at getting off the field on 3rd down?
Well, this past week, I thought they did a tremendous job on 3rd down. I think we was like maybe 2 for 14 getting off the field on 3rd down. But on the flip side, we didn't do as well. That would kind of catch my eye. When I look at the stat, I look at that just particular, just the 3rd down conversions. How well we got off the field on 3rd down and how well we did on 3rd downs on offensive wise. That is really the only stat I look at. And we didn't do so well on the offensive side of the ball this week against Grambling. Defense, I thought we did a good job on 3rd downs, getting off the field. So I take pride in that. And the young men know that 3rd down is a very important down for us. It's a big down on both sides of the ball.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We now go to Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Morning. How are you?
Doing great, Coach. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Mississippi Valley State.
Well, start out, I think we kind of flipped what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, and we started out fast. We started the game out well, going to halftime with the lead, and we came back out and we just did not stop the run like we should have. We didn't tackle well enough. We let them drive the ball down the field, had a few costly penalties, not a lot of penalties, but I think we had some penalties at inopportune times. Having Shannon banged up, our quarterback, and Devin Black went in, and he didn't play terrible, but he didn't play great either. I think he missed some things that could have been the difference in some of the things we were doing. We missed a field goal, then we hit the upright on the extra point. Things like that kind of stand in your way, and when you're not executing like you should defensively, it hurts. And those are some things that are hard to recover from, but we got to keep working, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep pushing and figure something out. We got Prairie View coming in this weekend, and we got to figure out a way to get one.
Those comments, Coach. For questions for Coach Sims, our first question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Good morning, Coach Sims. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. And you?
Good. So talking about that, and you take on Prairie View this week, which we know they're playing great football right now. What are some things that you're looking at that your team needs to do to possibly get that win on Saturday?
Well, I think we have to start fast like we did this weekend, but we have to continue. We have to keep playing and play through, the end of the game. We have, a tendency of kind of feeling our way around the first half, and we didn't do that this week. So we have to start fast and we have to finish strong. I think that's the number one thing. We have to execute offensively and make sure we're making the right reads and getting the ball to the right guys. And defensively, we just have to make sure we're lined up right and tackle.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. When you look at the Bethune-Cookman, your ball club, what do you see in those different 3 phases, and what would you like to happen out there?
Well, I see, our special teams playing solid. I think when you go back and watch film, you see some things that we could have obviously done better special teams wise, but that unit is playing solid. Offensively, we just have to, get over. We have 3 or 4 guys that were banged up that didn't get a chance to play, but, around here for years, it's just been next man up. So the next guy got to step up and fill that void, and defensively, we have to, get some stops on third down. We're not getting off the field on third down. And that's been something that's been, kind of eating at us all year. We have to make sure that we get these guys, lined up right and get them in position to be successful on third down.
Coach, I've covered your program for years, and you guys have always been competitive, and you always work. And I'm sure that's not going away. Can you talk about the desire and just the mentality of BCU Wildcats football?
Well, that hadn't changed. I mean, and I'm not a moral victory guy, and I'm not a guy that, talks about games being close. But there really hadn't been, a lot of blowouts. We just have to finish games. Not, taking anything away from any of the teams that beat us. They were all good football teams. But to answer your question, focusing on us, I see a football team that plays hard. They're playing the way we want them to play at times. We just have to get them to finish. We have to get them to play a complete game. They have to play 60 minutes of a football game and not, 30 in the first half or 30 in the second half. We have to put a complete game together, and that's on me to make sure that happens, and that's what we're working towards right now.
Thank you, sir. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Sims. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. We now go to Florida A&M. Head coach Willie Simmons. I do see Coach there. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus South Carolina State.
Definitely. So excited about last week's game. Extends our home winning streak, I think, to 9 games now. Played a South Carolina State team that offensively had really been putting up points and yards this season, and playing against one of my mentors, a guy I have the utmost respect for, and Coach Buddy Pugh, who had in his head coaching career, never lost in Bragg, right? So for us to be able to accomplish those things, to extend our home winning streak, to really shut down an offense that had been very productive over the last few weeks, and to usher one of my mentors out, whenever he decides to hang it up, by saying he never lost in Bragg, which we don't want anyone to say they never lost in Bragg, was really good for us. But again, I thought it was a great team win. Obviously, the talk is about our defense, and rightfully so. What can I say about that group? 2 straight weeks of holding opponents under 100 yards rushing and passing. If it wasn't for a personal foul there late in the game, just a bonehead mistake, we probably had 2 straight shutouts. Isaiah Land had 3 sacks 2 weeks ago, had 5 sacks Saturday, and is currently leading the FCS football in sacks with 10 on the season. Savion Williams, had his debut and had a huge game. 4 forced turnovers. Again, that group is playing as well as anyone in America on that side of the ball. Made a 51-yard field goal. All of our kicks were, through the end zone on kickoffs. And offensively, we were able to run the football for the first time consistently all season, with 188 total yards. And Bishop Bonnet had his first 100-yard game of the season with 118 on 12 carries. So great team win. Again, we didn't have the offensive explosion in the second half that Rattler Nation is longing for. I think we've kind of spoiled them over the years with high scoring offenses, but I'll take a 30-7 win in the day of the week, just like I take a 28-0 win the week before. So we're doing what we need to do to win games. That's the ultimate goal. We're not playing perfect football, but we're playing good enough football to win games. And the mistakes that we're making are all correctable. That's the positive. The glaring ones last week were the false starts, the offsides, and then obviously the personal fouls and unsportsmanlike conduct we received there late. So made a huge emphasis of that this week, because we can't be a team that beats ourselves. And if we don't do those things, I think we'll have a chance to be a team that can really play great football for the rest of the season.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open up for questions for Coach Simmons. Our first question goes to Keisha Keller.
Good morning, Coach Simmons. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ms. Kelly.
Good. Congratulations on your win on Saturday. So now you head over to the Hill of Alabama A&M to take on the Bulldogs, which has one of the top offenses, and we know you have a great defense. What's the game plan for Saturday's game?
Did Connell Maynor tell you, ask me that question? Can't give you the game plan. I can tell.
I don't mean you can give me all the details now. Not all the details.
So the thing we have to do is we have to affect Aqeel Glass constantly. If you allow him to be comfortable, he will carve you up. He's shown that throughout his career. All right, he's an NFL prospect, the top offensive NFL prospect in the SWAC for a reason. Right, he's 6'5", he's 220 pounds. He throws a great ball. He has a ton of weapons at his disposal, and so you have to find a way to get him uncomfortable. Right, and now the trick with that is you can't always do it by rushing five or bringing 6, because they do a really good job in the screen game and getting those guys the ball quickly and allowing them to make plays. So we have to create pressure with our front 4 and be able to drop into coverage and tackle the ball, right? And so in order to neutralize him, hopefully neutralize him, because he hasn't ever really been stopped, you have to affect him as far as getting him off his spot, get him out of rhythm. So that's the initial plan. And again, I know Coach Ryan Smith, Coach DC's Ryan Smith and Brandon Sharp are figuring out a way to do that. Offensively, we have to continue to run the football well, continue to stay ahead of schedule, and we have to do a better job of converting third downs and keeping out a great defense off the field. And for special teams, we just have to continue to play sound football. We've had some good returns. We've covered well for the most part. And we have to protect our punter and kickers. We've had a kick and a punt block this year. So we have to protect those guys, that guy, because he can't kick the ball far. So we do those things in those phases. I think we'll have a chance to go on the road and still win against the preseason conference champs.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, James.
HBCU Blue Bloods. You look at Florida A&M going into Alabama A&M, Mr. Glass, the Rattlers. It makes for a great contest. When you think about that game, defensively, what you guys want to do, and then the offensive side of the football, just talk a little bit about the Rattlers offense. Bishop and the guys are moving the ball around and scoring.
Yeah, we've been able to get the ground game going the last couple of weeks, more than we have all season. And I think that's going to be very critical for us moving forward. We have to find a way to protect Rashawn and make him more comfortable. And I don't just mean protect him as far as pass protection. I mean protect him the way he doesn't necessarily have to win the game, right? We become more of a ball control, manage the game type of offense. When you have a phenomenal defense, in my opinion, that's what you try to do. If you don't have the type of offense that's prolific with the quarterback that's played, 30 plus snaps and that's seen 30 plus games rather, and seen a lot of football. Rashawn has not done that, right? He's an extremely hardworking young man. He has a skill set that gives us a chance to do some things, but he's not Ryan Stanley, right? He's not John Gibbs and some of the guys that we've had at the quarterback position who had the experience, who've been playing the position their whole lives. The kid's only been playing quarterback now for 5 years, right? And so there's a learning curve that has to take place, a maturation that naturally occurs the more you play the game of football. And so every week he's getting smarter. Every week the game is starting to slow down for him. But until it does to a level where we can just take the reins off and let him go, we have to be smart, right? And allow our great defense to do what they do and allow our special teams unit to keep us in great field position. So again, I've said it probably 10 times in the last week. It's not what Rattler Nation is accustomed to seeing. We're used to seeing high-scoring offenses. We're used to seeing us spread the field and get our phenomenal playmakers involved and run the score on people. Well, I don't know if that'll be the case in 2021, right? It may be a 3 Austin Cloud of dust type season for us. But if that allows us to win games, that's what we have to do, right? So for us, it's about being smart. It's about playing to our strengths. And right now our strength is phenomenal defense, a great kicker who can flip the field and hit long field goals, coverage units that can keep people pinned down in a running game that's starting to hit its stride that will give us a chance to again, complement the defense and special teams units.
Coach, in closing, being back in the SWAC the second time around, this time you have the Rattler on your chest, on your heart. Just talk about being back. And again, it's about winning games and competing in HBCU football.
No doubt about it. I see some of my media friends on the call here that joked around with me when we came into the league about how, the West is going to be top to bottom this strong and how the East was going to be a cakewalk. Well, I think we see now that that's not the case, right? I mean, there's some really good football being played in the East. Jackson State's playing phenomenal football. We're kind of hitting our stride. And A&M is still the preseason favorite and the team that's very dangerous, right? Alabama State's getting better, and look at Mississippi Valley. Like, who would have thought going into the season that Mississippi Valley would be sitting here, on the street that they're on? And I know without a doubt that my buddy down the road is going to get things rolling, right? Because he's a phenomenal coach and they're going to continue to play hard. So it's a dogfight every week in the East. You have to bring your lunchbox. You have to be ready to play football. Because, again, there are no pushovers, there are no cakewalks. And so this is a game that we have to be prepared to win and prepared to play some really good football. Because if we don't, right, we'll be, coming back down to Tallahassee very unhappy. And Rattler Nation does not like to see the Rattlers lose football games.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Last question goes to Stephen Gaither.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Hey, Stephen. Good morning.
Good. Just talk to us a little bit about Mr. Land. Obviously, leading the FCS in sacks is a big thing, and 5 sacks in one game is phenomenal. Just talk about him, what he brings to your program, and just, what we should look out for from him from the rest of the season.
Well, Isaiah's a guy that, when I first took the job back in 2018, I made my way up to Grayson, Georgia, and went to recruit that school and outwalks a scrawny 6'4", 180-pound defensive end, right? And didn't pass the eye test, but when I turned the film on, I saw a guy with a great motor and with a lot of tenacity, right? And I said to myself, if we can just get this guy to get into college and put some weight on, man, he can be a football player for us, right? Well, he's put some weight on. He's up to 215. He still has that same motor. He still has that same chip on his shoulders. And what a phenomenal football player, right? I mean, he's a guy that really just embodies what our defense has become, that we call ourselves the dark cloud defense, but they're playing with an attitude that I have not seen for a very long time, right? They believe every time they take the field that they're going to physically impose their will on the competition. And I would hate to be a quarterback to look up and see Isaiah Land on one side, Savion Williams on the other side, Donald Hall at one D tackle, Gentle Hunt at the other D tackle. And then when those 4 go out, you have Deontay Williams and then Kyle Jackson and then Stanley Mentor and Richard Summers. And we just keep rolling guys in there. And that's the way we tried to build our defense, build it from the inside out, strong defensive line play. We know in the state of Florida we can recruit speed on the back end, and we have that. But we've never really had the defensive line, the interior front that we have right now. And so we're really 3 deep on the defensive line. So the crazy thing is Isaiah Land had 5 sacks and probably only played about 35 snaps in last week's game. I was going through the film myself just to make sure. I said, there's no way he had 5 sacks. So I had to look at it myself. And as I'm clicking through, I'm like, hold on, he's not even in the game because we got the second team D-line in. And so the kid had, again, 5 sacks in limited action. But that just speaks to the amount of talent that he has, his will to be the best. And all these NFL scouts that have come through to see Marquise Bell and Antoine Collier, Xavier Smith, and Keenan Forbes are now starting to ask, okay, who's number 31, right? So he's now getting on the NFL scouts' radar. And technically, with 2 seasons left to play, with continued weight gain and growth, he has a chance to fulfill his ultimate dreams of playing football at the next level too. But I'm excited to see what type of season he has as teams know who he is now, and we'll start the game plan for him.
Appreciate that, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. See you guys next week.
Thank you. We now go to Grambling State. Grambling State head coach Broderick Fobbs. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Alcorn State.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a lot of people there. Homecoming there on the reservation. Really good football team that we're playing against, of course. And when you play really good football teams, you can't have the type of first half that we had. Everything that could possibly happen, went wrong. Turned the football over, blocked punt. Didn't score points. Didn't do what we needed to do. A lot of that had to do with them as well. But we found a way to regroup. Found a way the second half to make a run, and had our chances, had opportunities. It is what it is. But we got to play better. We got to play better for an entire football game because you can't continue to come back on really good football teams and expect to win. So, my hat's off to Coach McNair and his football team and his staff. They did an awesome job, and we didn't.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. For questions for Coach Fobbs, our first question goes to Dr.
Coach Fobbs, how you doing today?
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for that, Coach. Wanted to focus a little more on the defensive side of the ball. Intriguing in terms of first, just talk about your defense, how they've been able to keep you in games, being very aggressive. And the second part of the question is over the years, we've talked a lot about offenses, particularly the offenses that you had that were very effective, but now and across the SWAC, but now it seems like we have even more so great defenses. Can you talk about that maturation from your team's perspective and from a league perspective?
Well, when you look at us defensively, we've always been really good on defense. There's been times where we've been a lot more consistent than we are right now on defense. But, at some point, we've always been really good on defense and been very aggressive. I think when you look at us, now, we're playing well in certain spots and at certain times. But then there's other times where maybe we're starting out flat, starting out slow. And people have been able to score a couple points on us, which kind of gets us behind the eight ball. Of course, offensively, everything starts with the quarterback. And, when you have really good quarterback play, you have a chance to be really good and really explosive offensively. And that's really important. But when you don't, then, you got to make sure that you do what you can to make sure he's experiencing some type of success, but then also to make sure that you're able to move the football and still score points and rest your defense and keep your defense off the field. But to answer your second question about this league, it's when you really look at where this league has become and where it's grown, it's truly amazing. I know from my time here, getting here December of 2013, first season 2014. There were always prolific offenses, and then there were really solid defenses. But I mean, now, I think this league is really stellar in all three phases. You got really good offensive play, you got really good running games, you got really good defensive play, and then you got really good kicking games. You got guys kicking the ball really well and coverage teams doing extremely well. You look at a lot of our out-of-conference games, just the league as a whole. We've been very, very dominant when you look at it and had opportunities to beat some of these Group 5 teams and in some cases, these Power 5 teams. So, this league has really, really grown and has really, really changed for the better. And in my opinion, it should be, one of the more recognized, conferences, in college football.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hello, Coach. How are you, sir?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. When you look at the game coming up on Saturday, Texas Southern, is how important is field position and also the kicking game this weekend?
Well, in every game, field position and kicking game is extremely important. The percentages go up, the closer you get to your goal line. The percentages go down the farther and farther you get away from your goal line. So it's going to be important. Coach McKinney does an exceptional job of coaching. They're very, very confident right now. They're coming in here with a lot of confidence. They've won their last couple of ball games. Just like we just spoke about, every game you got to be prepared to play. In my opinion, this somewhat similar of the SEC. You got to play football, and you got to be able to stop the run. You got to be able to score points, and then you got to be able to do really well in the kicking game. And this week's no different.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Larry Hill.
Good morning, Coach Fobbs. How you doing?
All right. How you doing?
Let me ask you this. When you talk about that quarterback for Texas Southern body, your thoughts about him and some of the things you got to do to contain that running game and that passing attack for Texas Southern?
Well, I've always really admired their scheme and what they've done. In the last, 2 or 3 years, coach has been there. They have a really good plan, and you can see that, all it took was just a couple of players in certain spots here or there. And they seem to have those guys. And that's really what it's about. It's about, being able to defend what they do and what they do well. They're going to run the football. They're going to throw the football. They're going to make sure that they put the football in their playmakers' hands. And that's not a secret. We have to do a really good job of taking away what they do well and force them to do other things, just like any other week. And that's really what it's about.
One more question, Coach. You talk about this Texas Southern defense and your thoughts about the defense for Texas Southern.
Well, they've always played hard, since they've been there. They play hard and play fast. They're real scrappy. They're going to swat at the ball. And then also they're going to apply pressure and try to do things to get you off your spot and make you uncomfortable. So we have to make sure that we enforce our will, on them. And it's just like any other game. You know, in any game you go into, the game boils down to who can enforce their will on the other opponent. And that's really what it boils down to. And whoever can enforce their will and their way of doing things on the opponent, you know, has an advantage. And more times than not, we'll get the momentum. And then more times than not, we'll get the victory.
Thank you, Coach Fobbs. Appreciate it.
I thank you.
Last question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. Noah didn't have the best of games on Saturday, but he kept you guys in it. How do you, as a coaching staff, help him continue to maturate as a quarterback, being a true freshman?
Well, we know that there's going to be inconsistencies at times. You know, we know that. You know, there's going to be times when he does a lot of really good things, and then there's going to be times where he looks like he's a freshman. That's part of the maturation process. But he's extremely talented. He's extremely intelligent and extremely smart. And he knows what to do with the football when he gets it in his hands. So we just got to keep working with him. You know, it's not going to always look pretty, but we do know in due time it will. So, you know, just like anybody else, you know, we can continue to work with him and continue to develop, continue to mix Alden in and mix in our running game so that we can continue to grow and develop. You know, every week he's growing. Every week he's getting better. And every week he's seeing his mistakes, regardless of who we play. So this is a tough league, and he's understanding that, but he's learning a lot in the process.
All right, thank you.
Coach Fobbs, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We now go to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Arkansas Pine Bluff head coach Doc Gamble. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for your time. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Alabama State.
We didn't get it done. We went down to Alabama State. We had some chances early on to score some points, and we didn't get it done. You know, give credit to them. They played really, really good defense. You know, Coach Hill had those guys ready to play. I thought we were ready to play. We were ready to play. You know, we had a good week of preparation, but it didn't translate to the field. You know, we gave up some easy scores, and then, you know, and then they held on late to help seal the deal. So, but we're looking and searching for ways and answers, trying to find a solution where we can start fast and then once we start fast, the finish. So we're still looking for solutions to get those things done.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open it up for questions for Coach Gamble. Our first question goes to IC Morrell. I believe you might be on mute there, IC.
Sorry, my connection's a little bit crazy. I didn't even hear my name. Coach Gamble, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
All good, Coach. Hey, could you tell me what's been going on with Tyron Ralph the last couple of weeks as far as his injury?
Well, he had to get emergency oral surgery. So, and we're just waiting to see, you know, how fast he heals, and then as soon as he heals and he's given the okay to go, he'll be able to play.
Coach, you had said something after the game Saturday about it seems like maybe the confidence has kind of, well, you didn't use those words, but the confidence has kind of been shaken a little bit since the Alcorn State game. You know, how are you trying to get you guys to regain the confidence, you know, especially with the last with the losing skid that you all have been on?
Well, we're making mistakes in every phase of the game right now, and we're not able to overcome those mistakes. And you know, everybody is taking their turn and making mistakes, critical mistakes, and we haven't been able to bounce back from them. So, and that's everybody in our organization that you know, everybody's taking their turn to make a mistake, and right now we're not hitting on all cylinders because of that. So, but we got to keep chopping wood. We got to get back at it and keep preparing and you know, and keep pointing out the things that we got to do and get corrected. And we just got the new mistakes can't keep showing up, and those are the things that's been hindering us.
Yeah. One last question I want to ask you. you have a lot of seniors on your team, but then you all have a lot of freshmen, and you've called on a lot of freshmen to step up. What does that say right now about the younger guys coming up, especially during a time like this where they're having to fill some roles that you may need the most, especially in the skill positions? What does that say about them right now, being able to step up in times where you need them the most?
Well, when we really put everything under the microscope, and look at it, those were, our youth and new guys, new older guys are. Those where we're seeing a lot of the mistakes come, but we still got to play them. And they still got to learn, And then we've been trying to rely on our veteran guys to overcompensate for them, and that's not fair to them. But our veteran guys got to play well as well at all times. But like I said, everybody, coaches included, we've all have taken turns in making some mistakes in critical situations, which is, you say, what situation? Well, every situation in the game, as the game go on, you don't know, every little detail got to be, we're not playing a clean brand of football right now. And we gotta get some things cleaned up. We got to get it done right now, so we've dug ourselves in the deep hole, and we got to scrape, crawl, and fight our way up and climb our way up out of it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Coach.
Next question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Yeah, Coach, you're coming off a SWAC West title and you start 0-3. Do you talk to your team about this being a good example of how you can't count on what you did in the past and how hard it is to repeat?
But no, we put that behind us once training camp started. So everybody knows this is what have you done for me lately, business. What have you done for me lately, season. So everything once one game is over, we on to the next. So, but no, we haven't been banking on that. We know it's tough. It's tough. But it's tough because we're in a good conference, a great conference. I just heard Coach mention it earlier. You got to show up to play every week. I mean, you got to be hitting on cylinder, hitting on all cylinders every week. The margin of error is slim to none right now.
And can you talk a little bit about the challenge of playing Southern? What their offense and defense, and what you're seeing?
Well, playing everybody. Week to week is a challenge, but Southern, they've shown the ability to be able to score some points. And I haven't really, we should really diving into. We got started late last night and still dissecting it right now this morning. But the thing that jump out at you offensively, they've been able to score some points. The quarterback is they got a better passer now. This guy, he's a little bit more accurate than the other guy, but the other guy can come in and do some things with his legs too. So they're a scary group, and then they know how to win, and that's been their trademark. They've been kind of the class of the West Division for a long time. So, and that just don't go away overnight. So they know what they're doing.
What about that running game?
Southern's running game?
Yes.
Well, that's contributing to they're playing good offense right now, and they're running it good. They're pretty much doing what they want to do offensively. It looked like they scored some points, pretty good amount of points last week and in the weeks before that. So they're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach Gamble, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you, James?
Awesome. Skylar Perry and your guys, we know how potent that your offensive attack is, but can you talk about the Golden Lions defense and what you would like to see on that side of the football?
Not giving up the easy play, for us. We got to be a little bit more stingier. We're keeping, we got to keep guys from not having career nights against us. They had a backup quarterback that played really well last week. We didn't affect him the way we should have, the way I like to see us do it. We got to get back to being stingy, making them earn, but we got to play complementary football, and offense starts with offense with us. Starts with defense, but offense, complements our defense as well, and then our special units. But offensively, we got to help our defense out. We got to score points when we're supposed to score points, and then that got to help us not give up easy points, easy scores, and instead of one-play drives. With those guys, we got to make people earn everything that they get.
Coach, going into Mumford at Southern, what's the thought process? And again, you talked about just every weekend is a challenge, but what's your mindset going in there?
Well, Southern's coming to us, and our mindset is to win the game, and that's what we're going to do here this week. We got to get back right, and this is a good week to do it. And then once we get back right, we got to stay right. So, but we got some areas we got to get cleaned up here prior to those guys getting here. And then it's going to be a great football game.
Thank you, and good luck hosting that football game.
All right, thank you.
Coach Gamble, as always, we appreciate your time, sir. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We now go to Mississippi Valley. Mississippi Valley State head coach Vincent Dancy. I do see Coach there with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
It was a good football game. I thought both teams played hard. Both teams fought, to the end of the game. We were able to start off early offensively, go down and punch in an early touchdown. They came back and scored, twice, one time before the half. I thought defensively we gave up too many yards early on. It wasn't about the scores, it was about the yards. We were giving up too much early. And I thought second half we came back, we went in and made some great adjustments on both sides of the football. Defensively, we came back and shut those guys out the second half. And offensively, we came back and just did what we do, and that's, run the ball. We carried the ball for 44 times, over 200 yards, and we dominated time of possession, and those are key things that we want to do in order for us to win football games, and I thought we did it well.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open it for questions for Coach Dancy. Our first question goes to Keisha Kelly.
How you doing today, Coach?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. You look real refreshed. You look different today on Monday. So coming in, you're 2-0 in SWAC play, and I know, how are the guys feeling mentally? I know we talked about like 2 weeks ago what that does for the psyche. How are the guys feeling about this coming off of this win against Bethune-Cookman?
I think they're feeling good. I think winning is always a good thing when you can win at anything that you do. I know our guys are feeling good. Coming off of, like I said, it was a hard fought game. It was a big win for us. We went down there and played those guys on homecoming. They gave us everything that they can give, and we was able to capitalize late in the fourth quarter. And it was a great game, and it was a good feeling. It was good to win.
All right, so now you take on Coach McNair, you take on Alcorn, another great team coming up on this Saturday. What have you seen in that Alcorn State team as far as improvement that you'll be looking forward to, I guess, facing them on Saturday?
Oh, man, good football team, very, very good football team, solid in all areas, all phases of the game. But that's what I expect, man. They have a great coach, great person, man, a man of integrity, honorable. Every time I see him, he's always encouraging words. He's always, just been there for me. Every time I see him, we always have great conversations. And when you got a man like that leading young men, you expect great things for those young men, and you can tell by the way he's built that program. And, year after year, they've been champions. They play like champions. They resilient, and overall they just got a good football team. There's no one guy you have to stop. Of course, the quarterback is very dynamic. He's a great kid, but they have playmakers that surround him. They got a good offensive line, two good backs that they rotate in and out. Defensively, they're stout. Coach Thornton does a great job with that defense. Been doing a great job with that defense for a long time now. So it's a good football team. We have our hands full this week.
All right. Well, good luck, Coach.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach Dancy, congratulations on that victory down at Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona.
Yes, sir.
When you look at the history of the SWAC and the legacy in the Magnolia State, we see three universities, Mississippi Valley, Jackson State University, and Alcorn, the reservation as it were, those three programs and those three rivalries, and you've been a part of that. Can you just talk a little bit about that and how symbolic and how special it is?
It's very special. You know, when you talk about the three historic program, black historically programs in the state, you know, I think they're top three to any other state. You know, the history, the tradition that these three schools bring, and just the rivalry that we have. You know, it hasn't been a very good rivalry lately. You know, playing those two teams, but it's just a blessing to be a part of it. You know, being a player and now being a coach and being able to coach in these games, man, it's just been a blessing for me. I look forward to it, and you know, we got Alcorn this week, in-state rivalry, and it is big. It's a big game for us, for not only just a game for recruiting, bragging rights is everything to us. So yeah, like I said, we got our hands full with a good football team, and we just got to come out and play mistake-free football and play the Valley way.
Coach, Alcorn, Felix Harper, and those guys are tremendous athletes. And of course, they have some success and some trophies they can look at to remind themselves of that. When you think about Alcorn coming in, X's and O's, what do you see from that team offensively?
You know, I was talking to my staff earlier. You know, week after week, we see different teams that, you know, we call it sometimes a copycat league. You know, people are going to take things what was successful the week before and try to defeat you with those things. But what you see from Alcorn is a team that's going to do what they do. You know, they're gonna run the football, they're gonna run the RPOs, they're gonna take their shot plays, they're gonna get Felix out on the edges to let him make plays, run pass option plays. They're gonna do what they do. They're gonna bank on you making a mistake with what you do. And defensively, they've been solid. You know, the last 7 years, they've been solid defense under Coach Stewart. They're going to play, 4 down front, cover 14. They understand that, what they're going to do. You just have to, you have to beat them. You know, you have to beat that team, and you have to beat them for 4 quarters. This is a championship-built team. And like I said, when you're led by a great head coach, this team won't favor. They won't waver. You have to beat them. And like I said, we just have to play the Valley way, and that's tough, hard-nosed football. Continue to do what we do. Continue to prepare how we prepare, and go at it on Saturday.
Good luck this weekend at Rice Totten.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Rashad Milligan.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. My question for you, you've often talked about how the team is always the underdog, anyone who they face. And you've always tried to kind of convince the team that they're as talented as you knew they were. Now, 2 consecutive wins. What's the challenge that you present to these guys and kind of keep them motivated headed into game weeks and stuff?
It's no challenge. I think it's no different. Yeah, Alcorn is our opponent, but I think it's the same thing every week. Once again, it's an opponent that we have to face, that we were not favored to win, that we were not predicted to win. Like I said, each week we go out with our same mindset, and that's just going out, practicing hard, working hard, making sure that we're prepared for whoever we face week in and week out. And I think our coaches do a great job, man. One thing I commend is my coaching staff, man, for their work ethic, the way they're able to adapt, change. I just got to give those guys a lot of credit because at the end of the day, they are the ones that's really out there doing all the grinding. They're grinding hard and making sure that these guys are put in position that they're able to be successful. And but it's no different for us. Each week it's a task. It's a hard task for us, and we're gonna continue to prepare and like we normally do.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Rob J.
Hey, Coach, how you doing this morning?
Doing good. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good, Coach. Congratulations on your win. My question is kind of like what Rashad asked you. It's been a while since Valley's won 2 games in a row. How did you keep these guys focused and motivated to know that that this is a good team?
Man, just continue to reiterate it to them. I think at the end of the day, they had to figure it out. that who they were. You know, I knew who they were. You know, I've been around, you know, coaching 14 years now. I can see a good team when I know a good team when I see one. But I think they had to finally see themselves as being good, believe in themselves. And I think, you know, having some success that helps anybody be, you know, believe in themselves. And at the end of the day, like I said, we just got to keep playing together, you know, trusting each other, becoming that one team that I know that we are. But I believe in these, like I say every week, I believe in this team. I believe in these young men. I've been here at Valley 7 years, and I know that I haven't seen a team like this in a while, you know, with the guys that we have in this locker room, the young men that we have in this locker room, and being that we're senior heavy, they understand that that we rely on those guys. But yeah, man, just believing in each other. I think that's the biggest thing, and winning helps that.
All right, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Rob.
Coach, as always, we appreciate it. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Now go to Prairie View A&M. Prairie View A&M head coach Eric Dooley. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you joining us. Coach, if you would please, obviously a bye week for your program this past week. If you can kind of just recap your bye for us.
Well, you know, I thought it was a good time for an open date. It came at a great time for us. We played 5 straight games. So what we wanted to attack the open date was to work on Prairie View. Some of the things that we had to do, we did a self-scout on the 5 games that we played in all 3 phases, and now we can work on some of the things that we need to get better at. And then, you know, more importantly, just a health factor. We haven't been hit with a injury bug, but we still had to get some guys healthy, being that it midway through the season. So I thought it was a good couple of weeks being off. The guys still was enthused about practicing, so it was a good open date for us.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. One up for questions for Coach Dooley. Our first question goes to James Hill.
Coach Dooley, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. Sir, you have a good football team. Your team is playing well at this point in the season. You had a bye week, and then you'll see Bethune. Can you just talk a little bit about your Panthers and so far what you see?
Well, you know, you're going to keep hearing it probably throughout the whole teleconference. We got a good conference. You know, got a good conference, and guys are playing some great football. And I'm fortunate enough right now that my team is playing well right now. So there's still some things that we got to correct. You can see those things a lot better when you're correcting them after a victory. So it's some things that we got to work on in all 3 phases. I don't think that we've done our best in all 3 phases. Some things that we're still working on, and we just got to continue to work. Just keep grinding and let it take care of itself.
Thank you, sir. Good luck this week.
Thanks.
Currently taking questions for Coach Dooley with Prairie View A&M. Coach, obviously just kind of shifting focus to your upcoming opponent, Bethune-Cookman. When you've looked at them on film, just kind of all 3 facets, what has stood out to you and your coaching staff?
Well, just as the head coach has stated, they got a team that play hard for 60 minutes. But, you know, more importantly, I know Coach Simmons, and I know Coach Simmons well, so I know that their team is going to be well prepared to play a football game, and I know it's going to be a challenging contest. So when you look at those guys, they got speed in all areas. They play great special team wise, and that's rightfully so, with Coach Simmons being a heavy special team guy. But, you know, more importantly, they got a chance to get a new guy in and did some good things with the offense. You look at the amount of yards he was able to throw for. He can beat you with his arms. He can beat you with his legs. And the defense is always going to be solid. So we know it's going to be very, very challenging. And just as everyone else has said, when you play any team in this conference, you got to bring your A game.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
You are known in the coaching ranks as a tremendous offensive-minded coach. Your defense defense, though, is playing extremely well. So if you would talk about your defense, and if you could specifically mention Troy James, the Baton Rouge native who received the interception in your last game.
Well, yeah, our defense have been playing extremely well, but I take my hats off to our defensive staff. Coach Miller got those guys playing. We got a lot of veterans back there, been playing for 3 years now within that defense. So I expect some of the things that they are doing, but it comes with great game planning. Those guys are grinding, making sure that they get together and put a great game plan for those guys. But then more importantly, those guys got to go out and be able to execute it. So that goes off to the players. They understand what we're looking for, and they're going out and trying to execute it at a high level. When you talk about a Troy James, you're talking about an extremely athletic individual that probably could have played either side of the football. Coming out of high school, the young man played running back, tight end, just played everywhere, but just happened to wind up playing defensive side of the ball. So, those are the type of plays that he's capable of making. You just got to continue to work hard and do the things that he is capable of doing and play within the confines of the rules.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Dooley, Prairie View A&M. Any final questions for Coach? All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I do see Coach Rollins has joined us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Texas Southern.
Well, we went out to Arlington, nice atmosphere, had a shootout, full four-quarter game, and it came down to the last drive of the game. And Texas Southern played an excellent game and came out on the losing end of the stick. Came up short.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll note up for questions. Our first question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Hey, Coach. I was wondering if you'd spoken with the conference office about the double replay review, and what kind of answer did you get, if you did?
I have not. I have not spoken with anyone about it. Really, it won't change the outcome of the game, so it really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. I know you would want an explanation, but okay. So would you talk a little bit about your defense and what you saw on tape, maybe some of the issues that y'all had?
Well, first, we went through a little drill that you do every Sunday. It's called the troop. And you look at it and you go, is it the play? Is it the player, or is it the scheme? So after you go through it all, and then you figure out what it was. And just a combination of things, also a combination of a pretty good offensive output by Texas Southern. Not to take anything away from them, they had a really good plan. So it's just a combination of things that we're working to get the answers to.
Mm-hmm. And would you talk a little bit about Brian Jordan? He had a good game for you, led y'all in tackles. He's a guy whose name hasn't come up. He's kind of come up in the ranks in recent games.
Well, it's another thing. We're just trying to comb the depth of our defense to find players. Brian was a converted safety. He started the season as a safety the first 2 games of the season, and moved him inside to play a little linebacker to get more speed on the field. And this is the first game that he had extensive playing time, which was very good to see that he could actually handle it.
Did you feel like he played well?
He did. He played well in spurts. Another good week of practice, getting more comfortable playing that position. We expect more from him.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Hey, Coach. What would you say to a Jaguar Nation that is disappointed about that unexpected loss to Texas Southern?
Well, I'll say I understand. I know the feeling, because we feel the same way. We feel the same way as you feel, Jag Nation. We're going to continue to work to make sure we right the ship.
And going into Arkansas Pine Bluff against Doc Gamble and his Lions, what shall we expect on the field from the Jaguars?
A 4-quarter fight. We're going to fight for 4 quarters as well as they are. So You're going to expect a hard-nosed football team that's going to play physical, smart, and fast.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach Rollins, how are you?
Doing well.
Good. So what are some things, and I might have missed that you think that the Jaguar Nation needs to improve on going into Pine Bluff?
Well, we want to get better in every phase of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. I mean, especially defensively, there's some things we're working on, whether it's the play, whether it's the player, whether it's the scheme. We have to find out what our guys do best and put them in the best situations to be successful.
And from week to week, what have you seen that the Jaguars have improved on?
I mean, we ran the ball extremely well. Our special teams has been doing a lot better, and in pretty much every phase, we're improving. So we're just going to continue trending upwards.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach Rollins, how are you, sir?
Doing well.
Awesome. This weekend marks another golden opportunity to win a football game. You go on the road, and it's an important game for standings. Do you go in there and focus on what the Jags do, or do you go in there and try to take some things away from them, or what's your process going in?
Our process is always the same. We have to be the best versions of ourselves every Saturday. So we have to take care of ourselves, and everything else will fall in place. So run, block, tackle, catch, be the best versions of ourselves.
When you look at those Golden Lions, they can run the ball, they can catch the ball and throw it around. Can you just talk a little bit about what you see from UAPB so far?
Well, when you have a veteran quarterback like Skylar Perry, we got a chance to see him this spring. He can throw the ball around. He can touch every spot on the field. He has a really good receiver in Trey Harrell that can stretch the field. And at the running back position, you have Crosby that can run it inside the tackles, outside the tackles, and then the Kayvon Britton kid that can really, balance you up and go the distance. So they're very explosive on offense.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
You're welcome.
Next question goes to Larry Hill.
Hey, Coach Rollins, tough loss for you in Arlington. What were some of the things you talked to your players about after the game, and what was that conversation with the referee like on the other end?
Well, the conversation with our team was more of all of your goals are in front of you. So you just have to take it game by game, one game at a time. It's a very competitive conference. It's good football. So any given Saturday, things happen. But at the end of the day, we have to focus on the next game. We can't let that game beat us twice.
I tell you what, Coach, McLean is a phenomenal athlete, Coach. When he did that big play, you guys were like on your own 10. And that trick play sent it all the way deep into Texas Southern territory. Man, that was a great dollar.
I'll tell you what, we're excited to see him make those plays. He came in and, started a little slow from last spring, early on in the first 3 games of the season. But it's good to see them have a breakout performance like that.
One more question, Coach, but you kind of got away from him in the second half. Really didn't go to him a lot in the second half.
Well, it was more of what they were doing. They were taking him away. They was putting a guy over the top and one underneath just to make sure that he wouldn't have one-on-one coverage anymore.
Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to IC.
Coach, how you doing today?
Doing well.
Look, I want to ask you about your quarterback situation. Ladarius, he's from Pine Bluff. Can you tell me how much you're using him right now, what plans you have for him going forward, and talk a little bit about the other quarterback that you have used right now?
Well, right now, with Ladarius Skelton, everything is dependent upon his health. He hadn't been healthy since the first game of the season. So how healthy he is depends on how much he plays and how much he's a part of the game plan going forward. But right now, we're excited with what Glendon McDaniel brings to the table. He played a very good game this past Saturday, and he's steady, he has the trust of the team, and he has a great grasp of our offense.
And I'm sorry, what was Ladarius Skelton's injury, if you can talk about it?
He had a bone bruise on his knee.
Bone bruise on his knee. Right. Now, the last time you all played UAPB, you made a game of it. I think it was 30-13 during the spring, and then I think it was the first game of the year, and You guys got within 30-27, if I'm mistaken. What do you take from that, being able to make the game a little bit closer against UAPB? Although this is going to be a different game this time around, but what do you take from that you think can help you guys on Saturday? This is UAPB's homecoming, though, so different environment.
Well, you kind of broke up at the end there, but we evaluate all film, last year's film as well as the games that they played this year to see how different they are or how similar they are from year to year, spring to fall. So it's just another evaluation from last spring, just to watch it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and just to clarify, I don't want to take up anybody, but just what did you take from last year's game?
Well, they're the same. They are very explosive. I mean, they led by a veteran quarterback and great playmakers on the edge and a really good backfield. They have a very experienced offensive line that's very physical. So they hadn't changed. They hadn't changed at all as far as their personnel, and still a very good football team.
Appreciate it.
Last question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Doing well.
Hey, just wanted to ask you, what were your impressions of TSU, and what did you feel like was ultimately the difference in that game?
I'll tell you what, I was very impressed with their freshman quarterback, Andrew Body. He's a tremendous playmaker. He doesn't play like a freshman. You don't rattle him. He's very tough, and he made all the correct reads, and they put him in great situations to be successful. So very impressed with their quarterback.
And what did you feel like was the difference in the game for you? Was it just him, or what was it that maybe caught you guys maybe a little off guard?
Nothing caught us off guard. I mean, you have to give those guys credit. This is a very good conference, and everybody has a good plan and a good scheme. So when they made the quarterback change, that changed a little bit of the dynamics of their offense, which with more of a dual threat guy, you have to defend the whole field. And the +1 runs that he also does. So it was a good plan by them, and he executed it well.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Got time for one question. Do we have any final questions for Coach Rollins? Coach, as always, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. We now go to Texas Southern. Texas Southern head coach Clarence McKinney. Do see Coach is on with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Great, Coach. Thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Southern.
Yeah, I went up to Arlington, played Southern in a tough, hard-fought game. Thought our guys were resilient against a really good team, and we were fortunate enough to be able to come out on top.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll load up for questions for Coach McKinney. Our first question goes to Keisha Keller.
How you doing today, Coach?
Good. How you doing, Ms. Keisha?
Good. Congratulations, first and foremost, on that win on Saturday.
Thank you.
So you're coming off back-to-back wins, and your team is looking more and more focused. How are you keeping them focused from week to week?
Our focus hasn't changed. Our practice habits haven't changed. Our schedule hasn't changed. We just weren't winning games before, and our plan is to continue to do what we've been doing, and hopefully our guys are a little bit more excited about doing it because they're starting to see the fruits of their labor.
And next and final question, can you just talk a little bit about your freshman quarterback? Did a phenomenal job on Saturday.
Yeah, he did a really good job for us this past weekend, but he made a lot of mistakes that you guys didn't see, but he's growing each week. He's improving each day. He comes to work every day to study the game plan, get better as a quarterback. And our team's growing confidence more and more in him with each game he plays.
All right. Good luck this weekend, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Larry Hill.
Good morning, Coach McKinney. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Brother, let me ask you this. Texas Southern came out. You seem like you really opened things up. You for this football team. What's so special? What makes Andrew Body so special? And how did we get him?
I'll answer your last question first. We recruited him. You know, there wasn't a lot of people in Corpus Christi evaluating him and recruiting him. We went out and recruited him, like what we saw, and felt like he'd be a good addition to our program. He brings an element to the game that a lot of quarterbacks don't really have. You know, he has the ability he's a true dual threat quarterback, and he just doesn't have experience, and he's having a lot of fun playing, and as he learns and like I said earlier, our team is growing more and more confident in his abilities.
Final question, Coach. Late in the football game, Southern needed a yard. Our defense rolled up their sleeves, put their hands in the dirt, and we stopped them. But it was a lot of replays and a lot of challenges. Coach, talk about that.
Yeah, it was just a crazy situation. We felt like our defense stopped them when we needed to. I believe that was a challenge by Southern, and we challenged their challenge. And fortunately for us, our challenge was approved.
Wow! Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach McKinney, how are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, Mr. Hill?
Pretty good. Looking at your running game over the weekend, we see Mr. Howard was able to score a hat trick, 3 touchdowns, and then also Mr. Owens was able to score twice. That's 5 ground touchdowns. Can you talk about your offense? It was clicking and what that was like for you.
Yeah, we have a really competitive group of running backs. We have about 5 or 6 guys that we feel comfortable that we can put in the game, and they'll go out and take care of business. Those guys all root for each other to be successful and just take advantage of their opportunities when they get them. As far as the run game goes, I think it was a mixture of our pass and our run that allowed us to kind of keep their defense off balance, and as well as us having the ability to run the quarterback as well. You know, you got to, with a kid like Body, you got to respect his ability to run, and he's making some really good reads in our run game, and that's what's helping those guys score touchdowns.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach McKinney.
Morning, Dr. Cavill.
How's it going?
Good.
Fruits of your labor, putting in the work. You got it done, homecoming. You get on the road, confidence, team plays well. Talk about the maturation of your team this season thus far in terms of leading to the ability to stick in this game and ultimately get it done.
Yeah, we have a group of seniors, super seniors with the COVID giving them an extra year, and those guys are the leaders of the team. They are determined to leave their mark on this program when they leave, and they've done a tremendous job of just leading the young guys and showing them the way we do things and the way we want to do things, and they want to make sure that when they leave here that their legacy is a part of something that they've started to be special.
Wanted to follow up and move forward. Grambling, you go down there, it happens to be their homecoming. Talk about what are some of the things that you're looking at and seeing on film that you want to get done against Grambling this weekend?
Well, we're going against another tough opponent on the road. Defensively, they fly around, they create turnovers. They're just a tremendous unit of causing confusion. And I think offensively, they're kind of like we are. That they're playing a freshman quarterback, and want to put him in a situation where he can be successful. And I think it's going to be a really good matchup.
Certainly, I agree. Congratulations on the win, Coach. Good luck
you.
this weekend. Thank you.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good. How's it going, Terrence?
All right. Hey, I want to talk to you just about, or see if you could talk a little about just the change in energy maybe that you're noticing with your team right now with winning these back-to-back games, and also just, and how that's maybe gotten their attention and the momentum that could be built, with this.
Well, I definitely think that winning brings about a different level of confidence in what you're doing. The swagger of the team is a little different than what it's been in the past. But our guys understand that, winning one game in the SWAC was not our goal coming into it. And so they're ready to get back to work and hopefully get another win this week.
But what is it like for you guys, even as a coaching staff? I mean, you've been here for a couple of years and you hadn't had that feeling yet. I mean, and to finally get these guys to that point where they get that feeling, you guys get that feeling. What has that been like for you these last couple of weeks?
Like I stated earlier, we're not satisfied. Our goal isn't to win one game, isn't to win one game in the SWAC. Our goal is to win the West, and we feel like we still have an opportunity to be in the conversation. And so nothing has really changed for us. We're just putting our heads down. We're going back to work, and we're trying to figure out what it's going to take for us to win this week.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Last question, Mark Gray.
Congratulations, Coach. How are you?
Good. How's it going? Thank you.
All right. I may be late to the party, so I apologize if I'm asking a question that may have been asked a little bit earlier, but in the building blocks of a program that you're trying to move to the next level, is this a defining moment? I understand that, it's bigger than just winning one game, but when you look at confidence and branding and all the intangibles that go with the W and the L, how big is this moment at this time for your program?
I think winning, like I said before, I don't know if you were on, but it brings about a certain level of confidence when you win and you feel confident in what you're doing. The players feel confident in what the coaches are coaching them to do. The coaches feel confident in the players being able to do the things that they expect them to do. So again, our swagger is a little different, but our work ethic is the same. And so, we've already put that game behind us and we're moving on to the next one.
What was that celebration like in a few moments early after you got in the locker room?
It was amazing. I think the celebration started before we got to the locker room. So as soon as the clock hit 0, the celebration started. So it's been a long time coming.
As an HBCU coach in a big market, I was in DC for Howard and Morgan, which was a bad game, but a terrific football scene. Given that you're different than a lot of the other markets in your conference, that you're, I guess, the number 4 media market, do you think prime time on Friday night is something biannually or annually that could work in your market in particular, since it's a, major media area?
I think prime time on Friday night in Texas is going to be hard. You got high school football, and high school football is king in Texas. So we wouldn't want to do anything to go up against that. A lot of people have, kids, nephews, nieces in the band or cheer. There's just a lot going on for us in the state of Texas on Friday night as far as high school football goes.
Thank you. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Coach McKinney, as always, we appreciate your time and we look forward to speaking.
Thanks a bunch.
Thank you. We now go to Jackson State and head coach Sanders. Good morning, Coach.
How you doing?
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
Oh, that was good. So many things came to my mind when you said that, but I'm going to behave today. Great game. Great game. We finally showed up in all 3 phases. Special teams did a great job. We missed a darn extra point, which I can't understand because that's a free one. But special teams, as far as the punt return, kickoff covered well. offense, defense, we played really good in all three phases, and the offensive line really came to play. I think it was a total domination. It was no other thought what we were going to go in there and do. We had great practices all week. Coaches, oh my God, the coaches' game plan, it was phenomenal, and we executed, and I'm proud of the kids. I'm really, really proud of the kids. But I knew what was going to transpire because of the week of practice that we had. Darn it, we had 3 fights on Thursday, so I knew what time it was. We couldn't wait to get in front of someone else. When you got kids fighting one another at practice, they want to see somebody else, and they did. Here we go. Let's do this.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. One up for questions for Coach. Our first question goes to Tolly Carr.
Hey, Coach. Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
Hey, good, man. I can't speak for everyone, but I know a lot of fans kind of enjoyed the hype of last week, the banter and the back and forth. When you look at the overall just mood of last week with everything that went on, how do you view it looking back on it?
I like it. First of all, HBCU football is, I think, unlike any other brand of football because of the pageantry. Homecomings are unbelievable. You know, homecomings are absurd. You know, homecomings take it to a whole nother height. And just the thought that goes into it. I've been on both sides with Florida States and homecomings and other homecomings, but homecomings for HBCUs is unbelievable, and anticipation of that game and the buildup of that game with the so-called rankings and preseason and during season rankings. I love it. I love it. I love it 100%. So it was unbelievable, and it was my first anticipated game that both teams were supposed to be at a certain level, and I'm thankful we had an opportunity to participate in.
You and Coach Maynor were in the middle of it with. I thought everything was friendly. I didn't think it was that big of a deal in the larger scheme of life. I think fans might have enjoyed seeing that side of you, having seen that from you in your previous life. How did you take that?
You might get that confused. You got to understand, in my game when I play, don't get this misconstrued. I never spoke about my opponent. I never told him what I was going to do, how I did it. Never spoke about him after the game or before the game. Never in the history of my career. I talked about me. I talked about what I would do, and I only talked about that after the game. So, you know, all the stories and the folk tales of Prime, I'm just trying to get it straight. I never have been disrespectful to another man in my life on a football field or previous before the game, disrespecting him. I would never do that. That's just not my character. I've never done that.
And your team, last question, you had 61. That's a tough act to follow. How do you measure success moving forward, even if you don't get 61 on the board?
We should have had more than 61. We tried to get more than 61, first and foremost. I don't think success is how many points we score. Success is really how we executed what we're planning on doing. And we watched the game film offensively and defensively as a staff, and it was so many things that we could have done better. So measuring success is not oftentimes wins and losses or scores or what. It's measured so many different ways. We have a guy, Malachi, what's Malachi's last name? Whiteman. Malachi came from Tennessee, real raw receiver, works his butt off, forgets some plays every now and then. You know, so we say, you know what? I don't give a darn if you have to tell him what to do when he gets out there. Put him to our sideline or do what you got to do, but he needs to get in the game. Florida boys, you know how I have affection for Florida boys. Guess what Malachi go in the game and do? Touchdown. Straight to the house. And we missed him 2 other times. It's our fault. We missed him down the sideline. He came to the sideline and looked me right now and grabbed me and said, Coach, thank you for believing in me. And tears welled up in my eyes. See, to me, forget the game. That is how I measure success. Those moments. Good, that was good.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
I already hit myself on that.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hello, Coach Prime. How are you, sir?
How you doing?
I'm blessed. You just alluded to it, the impact quality coaches can have on quality student athletes. I'm looking at Coach B and FSU and the Seminoles Nation. And in this particular case, you're able to do your thing, and now you're giving back to young gentlemen at D. Jackson State University. Can you talk about that legacy and what that's like for you personally?
Well, Jackson State, you're saying? Yeah, I'm
yes,
happy.
Sir.
I'm right where I want to be. I'm right where I should be for such a time as this. It's not work. It's so much fun. I have a tremendous staff. And these kids that are on the team, these young men are phenomenal. We have a special relationship because I don't know how other coaches do it. Some coaches that I've been in their space to see how they do it, but I don't know if anybody does it like us. I'm fully transparent. I say what I feel what I say, and the kids receive it. And we have like a trust kind of thing and a reciprocal type of thing. I give, they give. And I'm trying to teach them that's how life is. You got to give, and somebody else is going to give, but not until you give. The Bible says, give, and it shall be given. I say we're gonna represent the scriptures. So these kids are phenomenal. The staff is phenomenal. I think the alumni, student body, and all the supporters of Jackson State is unlike any other. And we're still trying to train everyone to be not a homecoming fan, not a what you call it? What we call these big things when they get together? Classic kind of fans. Yeah, they're a Jackson State football fan. Come regardless. So we still got to teach that. But I'm happy, man. I'm elated where I am. I really am. Thank you for that question, for setting me up for that.
Coach Prime, in closing, the second piece to that is student athletes get an opportunity to earn an education. And that's something that the coach and the university imparts on them. And as they move through life as winners in the game of life, they have that education they can apply. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I'm happy. I think we're number one in FCS in the graduation, aren't we? Yeah, we're number one. What is it, 88%? Something like that, 88.7, something like that percent of graduation rate. I'm extremely happy with that. We study hall is vital. You know, they get disciplined when you miss that because that's part of understanding what you're being taught. And not only that, I go above and beyond because everyone is not going pro, but they could be a professional. So I reach out to companies. I reach out to persons. We just had Walmart on campus last week. Not just Walmart going and put an apron around your waist and walk around and welcome somebody. No, we're talking about a real career at Walmart, not a start. So we have those type of options open for our kids as well. And I oftentimes try to get them when CEOs come here to visit me, I allow our CEOs to speak to the team on how they did what they're doing. Because athletes are not the richest persons in this country. There's so many more jobs and occupations that you could make a lot more money than what we're doing what we're doing. But that's not to take away from what we're doing. We're happy.
Thank you, Coach, and always a pleasure. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Keisha Kelly.
How you doing today, Coach Prime?
How you doing?
Congratulations on your big win on Saturday. So I did going to social media. One of the things I absolutely commend, and when they're talking about student athletes, from the beginning of the game, you do the walk down with your son as father and son, and then you come back as quarterback one and Coach Prime. Is there anything in particular that you're saying to him? Because I really do love to actually see that.
I'm saying, are you ready? Are you prepared? You like the game plan? How you feel? What's your last name? We're going to make them remember it when we walk away from this field. Pray for you. I love you, and I appreciate you. Go out there and make them remember our last name. It goes a little something like that. We've been doing this for 5 years now, because he's been QB1 in high school, and then that's what we do before every game. That's kind of like our little thing. And I gave you a glimpse of what's said sometimes, but it always changes. But you got to understand, I'm so proud of this man. You have no idea the things that he does in game. You know very well, if you know football, we don't have no running play for the quarterback. What you saw in the game, that's all him. That's all him seeing the corner playing man, seeing the outside blitz, seeing the linebacker shaded the other way, and he takes it. That's just him. That's just his intellect. And we're blessed and gifted. And I've been blessed to mature him as a quarterback coming up through college. Now we have a staff that's taking him to the next level, man. And I'm proud of the young man. Oftentimes I forget that he's my son. Charles, I just saw a clip with he and Neely earlier today when he was saying that we're trying to cut it up and make some good sense out of it, but he was saying that, you know, I had to represent for my daddy. You know, dude was talking about my daddy. And I don't play about that. You know, I know how that makes my daddy feel. It was something to that extent. But from him having my back, you have no idea. You know how that makes a man feel, man. I mean, we often are targeted because they say we aren't there. But when you have these sons or two sons in there to think that you're there, you have no idea the impact that is. So therefore, Charles, we're trying to cut this clip up because I want the whole country to see. It even goes back to the HBCU, what was that we went to in Alabama? Media Day. When he was on the stage and he was not trying to be arrogant, but he's like, you don't have no idea what we practice against every day. Like the guys we practice against every day are pro guys. So we don't care about who we playing against. We worried about beating these guys at practice because it's competitive. He was not being arrogant. He was just telling the truth. And all this is playing out now. It's playing out right before your eyes.
All right, well, thank you so much, Coach Prime, and I hope you enjoyed Bo's Best Wings in Huntsville on Saturday.
Oh man, Bo, I tasted a toenail in some of them wings. Bo put a toenail in them things. Bo did that. Bo did that. God, Bo did that. I try my best to go visit a place that's where renowned in the inner cities, in every city we go to. And Bo got down, man. God bless Bo.
All right, good luck with your upcoming opponent with Alabama State, Coach.
Yeah, we're going to take Alabama. We're going to take everything in Alabama.
Coach, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you. God bless, man.